Hello, you are welcome to Quiver Analytics, and in this training, in this lesson, we are starting on machine learning. All right, so we are using Jupyter as we've been using before on the previous Python trainings. So for um, so ma machine learning, will be concentrating on supervised and unsupervised learning. And this for this lesson, we'll be talking about these two types of machine learnings. And then the subsequent lessons will talk about the other two types of supervised machine learning. All right. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is a Machine learning is a branch of artificial intelligence that allows computers to learn from data and improve their performance without being explicitly programmed. All right. So instead of writing the rules manually, a machine learning system defines patterns from historical data and uses those patterns to make predictions or decisions. All right. So what we are saying here is that for machine learning, we what it means is we train the machine, we train the system um, to do things with some data, and then after the training, we test the training, how good the training has been, and then we give the machine some tasks to do, especially to make predictions or make decisions. All right, so this is where this is where the concept of AI emancipated from, because for AI, especially when you are doing your LLM, it is just prediction of the next text, prediction of the next text, prediction of the next text. All right, so there are three types of machine learning, the general three types. We have the supervised, we have the unsupervised, we have the reinforcement learning. All right, in this lesson, we'll talk about the first two, while the next videos would buttress about one, supervised learning. All right, so for supervised learning, is a type of machine learning in which algorithm learns from labeled data. So when we say labeled data means data with titles, data with headings. All right. So for example, if you've heard of the iris data or any table data that you know, most likely they have headings. The first rows are headers. So that is what we call supervised data, labeled data. And the type of machine learning we use there, they are supervised machine learning. All right. Now, how supervised machine learning works, I'll be skipping because I'm going to drop this so you can get the material and read through. So how supervised learning work, a dataset contains inputs and their correct outputs is provided. The algorithm studies the relationship between the inputs and the outputs. A model is created to represent this relationship. The model is tested on new data to see how accurately it can predict outcomes. All right. So then types of supervised learning, we have the classification. Classification predicts a category or class label. For example, an email system may classify messages as spam or not spam. So to break it down, for most data, we have independent variables, we have dependent variable. So for classification model, the dependent variables are class, they are category data, they are categorical data. They can be 2, they can be 3, and so on. So an example is when we collect emails, we collect attributes of an email that can be used to predict. For example, an email that has unsubscribe, it's your email might either have unsubscribe or it's or not. Those emails that are corporate emails, most times they are spam emails, you know. So you can, I'm just giving an example. So for example, you can that can be your one of the attributes, one of the features. So for features, we have independent variables and dependent variable. So the dependent variable here is that the features the independent variables will determine whether a mail is a spam mail or not spam. Now, the regression type of supervised learning. The regression supervised learning is where the dependent variable, that's the target variable, is continuous. It's continuous variable. It's continuous numerical variable. All right. So for example, the data we'll see these practical examples very soon. So examples of supervised learning application: email spam detection, medical diagnosis prediction, credit risk assessment, sales forecasting, image recognition. Then advantages of supervised learning: we have high accuracy when sufficient, blah blah blah. So you can read this up. Yeah. Then we have the unsupervised learning. The unsupervised learning on labeled data. It's simple. Supervised learning is labeled data. Unsupervised learning is unlabeled data. That means the data do not have headers. They do not have headers. An example that we can have is customer segmentation, recommendation system, market basket analysis, anomaly detection. There are two types of unsupervised. We have the clustering and the association. All right. So, like I said, in the scope of this study, this whole study is to focus on supervised learning, and we'll be focusing on regression and classification problems. So for in summary, we have supervised learning, difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. Data type: supervised is labeled, unsupervised is unlabeled. The goal for supervised is to predict, while the goal of the unsupervised is to discover, and so on, like that. All right, so you can go through the conclusion, and in the next video we will talk about we'll learn about the regression supervised learning practical example. All right, so thank you, and see you in the next video.